So for Maurice and Howard, is it harder to get nominated for awards or fancy reading lists if you are self or indie published? Is it all about networking anyway?
What do you think, Maurice?
Well, I'm still reeling from your last comment about how nothing good comes from an ink pen. And I'm like, man, my art friend just literally just did a sketch of me for my last signing
With ballpoint
with
pen?
ballpoint pen. And I was
Okay,
like,
what he was drawing in legendary mode. He had the
oh,
difficulty knob just turned
got
all the way
you.
up. He's
Got
that
you.
good.
He's that good.
He's that good.
Right. Hopefully he won't hear this because then I'll never hear the end of this. I literally came into my classroom today because at the library we had a new order of books, and they ordered a class set of one of my middle school books. And so I have like 30 copies of Unfadable piled on my desk, and he stuck a sign on it that said Mount Ego.
Nice.
Perfect.
So, question about
Yes.
is it easier to get nominated if
I'll
you're
read it again.
or harder? Yeah, please do.
Is it harder to get nominated for awards or fancy reading lists if you are self or indie published? Is it all about networking anyway?
My gut. So uh, this I'm kind of split on the answer because on the one hand, um, a lot of awards tend not to look at independent publishing just for the sake of convenience. When what it all boils down to is just convenience. So they go they let traditional publishing be one of the first levels of for lack of a better term, of gatekeeping. So so it limits the field for them just from that. But then so there's that is just a reality of life. And so there are some awards that will look at independent publishing and just, but most will not. And so that's just a fact of life. um but that being said, when all said and done, when I talk to readers, they can't tell me who published any of my books. They don't know if it was self-published. I've several books that are self-published. They don't know if it came out through Tor or Macmillan or HarperCollins. They don't know because they aren't checking for that. It's all about how do I get my book into their hands, and once I get it into their hands, that's where that's where word of mouth spreads. So it's about networking to a degree. It's mostly about how can you get your book into the reader's hands.
Yeah, there are awards like famously the Hugo Awards, where the nominating parties, the nominators and the voters are just people who happen to have spent money to go to the World Science Fiction Convention. And a good social media presence is all you need. Hey, here is my favorite thing I did this year. And guess what? It's eligible for a Hugo in, best fan writer or, best short story or whatever. And there are a lot of things that have come up for awards in exactly that way. But yeah, like Maurice was saying, I think like the American Library Association, like the ALA Awards and Newberries and things like that, they have publishers that they work with, and the publishers are all over, especially with children's books. The publishers are like, man, we want to get one of those little golden bugs or whatever the emblem is, on our book, and so we are going to send copies of this book to everybody who nominates for these awards, to everybody who votes for these awards. That's a difficult engine to fight against.
Right.
I would say one of the things that I'm thinking about as I'm listening to both of you is to stop and take a look at, why are you interested in the award in the first place? What does the award accomplish for you? And whatever answer you have is valid. It may be that this award is emotionally important to you and you really just want to own a Hugo rocket. And that matters to you, and it's an evidence of value to you. It might be that you see the award as a promotional tool. It might be that you see the award as an evidence of you've made it. knowing why you are pursuing an award lets you target your path and make choices based on that draw in intelligent ways. And sometimes if you're doing indie publishing, some of those awards, yeah, their doors are kind of closed to you. So how can you accomplish your goal with that award in a different way? How can you accomplish the thing you want? How can you give yourself that feeling of I've made it without having a gold star from the teacher, right? And so really dig into the why of why the award matters to you, and then you can make choices about path.
Yeah. I can't tell you how freeing it was for me to no longer care about awards. Because like one of those things, it's like, you know, you come up and you have all these things that are like that matter to you. Come just like I distinctly remember I'm like, all right, I need to be a New York Times bestselling author. I need to win the following awards, and and that's when I know I've made it. And then I was like, wait a second, you know what? So much of this is out of my control. Period. I mean, from the jump, like you know, even if I'm published at some of the best publishers, and I love my publishers, but you know, I have no control over their marketing campaign, for example. So if I have no control over their marketing campaign and their marketing budget and their marketing efforts, I can do what I do, but you know, that's going to greatly impact, you know, whether or not it hits New York Times bestseller status. That's out of my control. Many of these awards, I don't even know how to qualify for most of these awards. Sometimes the publisher does it, sometimes the author does it. Sometimes it's about, hey, what circles do you travel in, and you know, and how people, you know, nominate for awards, like Howard was saying with the Hugo Awards. It's like so much of that is out of my control. So if it's out of my control, I let it be out of my control. There's only one thing about this process I can control, and that is literally me putting my pen to my page and producing the next book. That's the only thing I can control. So that's the only thing I focus on. If awards come, great. And I have won a couple awards. But they shock me every single time. You know, when all said and done. Because that's not where my focus is. That's not where my energy is at. I'm always about, all right, let me just get to that next book.
It's nice to be in the space where it's like a delighted surprise. It's this bonus instead of this wall you're beating your head against.